One of the main things we need to think about when we're starting our plants indoors or extending our growth season is to think about when our first and last frost dates are. An easy way to do that is just to Google your hometown and your state, last frost date, first frost date, and it will give you both. And then you can plan accordingly of when you want to extend your season with starting plants indoors. For seed starting cells, there's going to be a whole variety of different options to you. You can have the 6-cell ones, or they make even smaller than this. And they also make these square ones, which I feel are going to be the most popular and the ones that you can use for the longest term if you're using these single cells. There are also options of multi-cells put together, but that can be really a hindrance when you're trying to go plant stuff out in your garden. You're working with this big thing, and trying to gingerly take all of these plants out can be a real headache, so it's not something that I use very often. For just using what you have and repurposing, reusing, is to recycle usable cups at your summer picnics, or if you have any parties or whatever, and then drill a hole at the bottom of them for drainage. And this is going to be a really good size. Your plants are going to really like this. They're going to grow really well. They're not going to get very root bound. They're going to be able to withstand that 6 to 8 or 10 weeks, 6, 8, or 10 weeks that you need for starting plants that have a longer growth period. So this is just a really, really good option, and it's a lot easier on your wallet. I originally found the idea for the red solo cup on another YouTube channel called Roots and Refuge. It was such a great idea. I implemented it and loved it ever since. Some other ideas for different cells to put your seed starts in are an old egg carton, but again, same with like the 6-cell container, this is not gonna hold your root system for very long. So when in a pinch, it works for a short period of time, but it's not gonna work for very long. Want to get a water tray to put all of your cells in so that you aren't dripping water all over your floor, because nobody wants to do that. You don't want to make a mess, and you want to have your plants have the option to be sitting in the water for a minute so that they can really grab it and use what they need, and then we can just part out the excess. So these are what I use, and these are what I really feel is the best option. I've looked them up on Amazon, and you can buy them in a bundle, and they're about $2 a piece. If you're short on resources or don't want to make the trip out to the store, another option would be just a regular old baking tray. The idea for a water tray would be to take a salad green mix, this clear container which will hold water, and just put your cells in here. You're not going to fit very many, but again, it will work in a pinch. Once you figure out what you're going to put your seedlings in for a cell size, you're going to want to figure out what you're going to use for your soil. You're going to need some sort of seed starting mix. So seedling mixture or seed starting mix will be directly on the front of the packaging. It's a lighter, more porous mixture, so your seeds are going to be able to push up through it faster and not really struggle like they would with a dense garden soil or other like compost or anything. This is really, you just want this really porous, really fibrous substance. Bringing in garden soil or anything into your house is it's going to come with everything that's outside. You're going to have bugs, you're going to have bacteria, you're going to have fungus, you're going to have all of the things that are outside that have their own control system. And when you bring them in your house, you're going to have bad news, whether it be fungus gnats or just a whole variety of things. Your cells, you want to make sure that you wash and sterilize them before any new use, removing all of any bacteria or fungus or any diseases that could be in your container will be eliminated with sterilizing and washing them. So to sterilize your containers, the most common thing that you're going to hear to sterilize them is going to be adding just a little bit of bleach to some soapy water. I, however, don't carry bleach in my house, so I resort to vinegar. I can't tell you what's going to work for everybody else. I can only tell you what's going to work for me, and vinegar has always worked great. Okay, so when it comes to seed starting mix, I like to get mine ready before I even put it in the seed starting trays or cells. So what I do is I find an old bucket or something that I know hasn't had very many chemicals. This is just an old stock bucket that we've had from watering dogs, or I use it for picking rocks in the garden. It is multi-purpose. So what I do is I pour the bag of seed starting mix in the bucket, and then I kind of just saturate it with water just a little bit, okay, so the consistency of your soil should be that of kind of a damp sponge. You want it to kind of hold itself together, but not be super saturated with water, because then the seeds have the potential for rotting, and that's just not our goal. So you want it to kind of hold together, but when you squeeze it, you don't want it just to be dripping with water. A few drops are okay, but not a lot. And once it's ready, then you're ready to start filling your seed trays. So in this next segment, I'm going to have a nice little helper who loves looking through my seed catalogs with me. And since we now have our seed cells figured out and our seed starting mix, the next thing we get to go over is where and when to buy your seeds. I usually get most of my seed catalogs from late fall to early winter, and then just sort through them and dream in them, and usually
dream in them.
You dream in them. Usually get my seed choices picked out by late December, early January. One of the places I like to order from is Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. Their website, I believe, is rareseeds.com, and they are not the cheapest place, but they are really good quality seeds, and the seed packs that you do get are going to be full of a very large amount of seeds, which you'll be able to use for multiple years. So it is one that I really highly suggest. Another one that I suggest is Seed Savers Exchange.
Seed Savers Exchange?
Yeah. Their specialty is saving different heirloom seeds and really making sure that they continue on through the generations. And it's just a really good company to support. Another one that has a great price in organic seeds is M.I. Gardner, and he doesn't have, at least to my knowledge, that company doesn't have a hard catalog, but they did come out with an online version this year. So again, that is M.I. Gardner, and I will try and link that in the description. Those are the best places that I found to find seeds online. Again, if you're in a pinch, buy them where you can get them. I've bought them at dollar stores. I've bought them at hardware stores. Again, you're not going to have the wide variety or the selection that you have with these massive catalogs or online options, but you'll still be able to have seeds and you'll still be able to grow. Introduce you to Mackenzie and Lucas. They are my best little helpers in the whole wide world. So here's what we do now. We take our cell, we get our hands dirty. Are you gonna get dirty? Dirty, dirty. Here we go.
Oh, can I get my hands dirty?
You can. Let's let Luke do a row, and then you can do a row, okay? Fill them up, buddy. Fill them up.
Dirty hands.
Dirty hands. Okay. Really want to make sure you give that a good tap. Okay.
What the fuck do we?
Oh, you get to take a turn. Okay, let's see, take a turn. Come on, buddy, switch places. Here we go. Ah! So now that we got all of our soil in our containers, Mackenzie has sorted our seeds for us and picked out the first seed that we're going to try and plant. Can you show them? The first one we're going to try and do is a cabbage. Now, this is my first time ever doing a spring garden, so I might be on a little bit of the early side of things. I do for seeds that don't need to go very thick is I just run my fingers over the soil, kind of compress it, kind of push it down, and then give it one nice pat to make sure that everything is adequately covered. Okay, so while Mackenzie is filling out the name for that one, I'm also going to be planting just some green salad bowl mix. Some of my seeds are a lot older, like I said, so I'm just going to overly plant for a better chance of germination.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
So with lettuce seeds, you just want to plant almost surface level. So you plant them, and then you just kind of don't even mix the soil, just kind of push down on them And then the water will pull them further down into the soil. I'm going to plant 2 rows of this one, so we're going to have 6 cells of it. And then if I have a high germination rate, I will thin these out so we can get big lettuce heads, because
Mom, I pushed it in there.
that's the whole point of starting them inside, is to make sure that we get those big heads. My husband does not like a mesclun mix or any sort of baby greens. It's not his favorite. He really just likes the big leafy lettuce, so that's what we eat. Good job, Mackenzie. Now can you make one for this one?
Look at that. Don't forget telling Alola.
So again, with lettuce, you just want to barely push down.
Why is that sticker there?
Just push down with your finger. Because lettuce is funny, and I've heard that it actually needs the light to germinate. So if you push it too far down into the soil, it won't be able to get that. So just barely push down. And like I said, the water will pull it deeper into the soil once you water
Where's
it.
my
continuously. Oh, there you go.
I got my
Silly
stick.
mommy.
Silly mommy. X.
Okay, and then I think the last one we're going to do is some more romaine. We already have some over already on our stand,
Look at
but
all those
again,
fluffs
he
on
really
the
just
TV.
likes those big leafy lettuces. So that's
Look
what
at
I love all of it, but you gotta feed your family what they like. Otherwise, there's no point in really growing it. You're gonna be very discouraged and angry, and that helps nobody. So just grow what your family will eat, and work up to things that you think that you want to try. But just start. The best opportunity is to just start with what you know everybody already likes. And these seeds weren't actually that old, and I'm just already in the process of thickly sowing, so I probably just wasted a few seeds, but I give any pinched off seedlings to my chickens, so they're happy with that. Again, just you don't want to cover them too much, just barely, barely, barely push them down into that soil.
All right.
Good job, Mackenzie.
That way we know what it is.
Okay. Here you go. So again, thank you everybody for starting our seeds with us. We really appreciate you hanging out with us today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I hope to talk to everybody soon. Bye. Bye, Mackenzie.
Bye. Bye.
You gonna say bye, buddy?
Bye.